Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is Sunday, October 9th, just about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperature is 72 degrees, the humidity is right around 50%, and it feels absolutely fantastic. So I had to wait until now to get out into the bee yard, to get into the bees, of course, because this morning when I woke up around 8 o'clock, it was 42 degrees. So with that said, I think the fall weather is here to stay. So hey, this is going to be a pretty quick time in the bee yard. I have two purposes. The first purpose of today's visit is to top off the hives with 1-to-1 sugar. As you can see, I have the jugs on top of each of the hives. And then the second purpose of my visit is I'm going to be treating the colonies with oxalic acid using the dribble method. So I made the solution based off the nice folks over at honeybeesweet.com. They posted an article years ago. I actually saved it years ago, and it's taken me this long to get around to it because, well, life happens and we all get busy. But I'll leave their link to the oxalic acid dribble solution, how to make it, how to apply it, etc. I'll leave that in the description so I don't bore you to death. I'll show you the container here in a second, but let's check out this activity this morning, or I guess this afternoon. So all of the hives have some very nice activity, which is great to see. But the main thing I was really looking at, and I'll have to put my veil on so I can get closer, but hive number 1, which is down in the 3rd position, that was my focus of attention last week. And I moved, if my memory serves me right, I moved 4 frames into that colony from 3 other hives to give them a boost in bee population and to give that colony the option to replace their queen if they choose to do so. So I'm not going to tear them apart. Like I said, I'm just going to top off the hive feeders this week, but just a week later I can see a lot more activity coming out of hive number 1, again down in the 3rd position. But I'll give you a closer look after I put my veil on. With the amount of activity that I am watching right now, I am definitely not going to get that close without my veil. Alright, that does it for the introduction. I'll show you the oxalic acid solution and the syringe I'll be using, and we'll get into the hives, top off the feeders, and try to treat them, or I will treat them, with the oxalic acid dribble method for the first time. So I'll show you how that goes. All right, just a quick look at the container and the syringe. So I'm using a 2-quart 64-ounce container, and as you can see, I wrote some directions on there so I can remember for next time. So you use 35 grams of oxalic acid per 600 milliliters, which is 20 ounces. So I doubled it because each hive gets 50 milliliters of the oxalic acid, which per the honeybeesweet.com people and their article, each seam, so each crack or each space between frames, you drip 5 milliliters of the solution. So if you have a 10 frame, each colony gets 50 milliliters. So depending how many colonies you have, obviously that'll determine how much of the solution you make. And then this is a 60 cc syringe, as you can see. So for each colony, I'll fill it up to 50 and then treat, like I said, 5 milliliters of the solution in between each frame. So we'll see how it works. Something's better than nothing, I suppose. And like I said earlier, this will be the first time trying this. So we'll see how it goes. All right, smoker's lit. Give the bees some smoke. Pop the top, do the same. Get down into the bottom box here. Top off the feeder and treat them with some OA. Show y'all first look here. It's a nice look. Got some fall bees. Most of these bees will bring this colony through the winter. All right, here's some 1-to-1. All right, here we go. 5 milliliters per seam. Okay. Okay. Alright, well, I'd say that was relatively easy. I'm going to take a look at the top box. Let's take a quick look to see if they have any brood. There might be a need to treat up here a little bit, so let's take the inner cover off and yeah, we'll do that. Probably 3 or 4 frames, so just say this frame, maybe this frame, just wherever you see the bees concentrated, and maybe this frame. And you know what? There's a decent amount right here too. All right, there you have it, folks. That was pretty easy, actually. Not the feeding part, that's normal, but treating the hives with OA using the dribble method. So I'm just gonna do the same for the rest of the colonies. I might show you 1 or 2, but not trying to bore you all to death. This process will be the same for each one. So there you go. Check out the folks over at the Honeybee Suite site. Like I said, the link will be down in the description if you haven't found it yet. Real easy directions, real easy to do. And if you're making sugar water, in my opinion, if you're making sugar water this time of year, it's simple just to whip up some of this solution and treat your colonies if needed. All right, let me get into the rest of the colonies, do the same, and I'll show you 1 or 2 at the end. As I'm getting into number 1, I realize I did not give y'all a first look at the front of the hive like I said I was going to. So let's take a look at the bottom box real quick and see if we can just visually tell if the population has seemed to increase at all. Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of that capped brood that I moved over, I would venture to guess they have hatched. I was going to smoke them just then, but since I'm going to be treating with oxalic acid, I'm not going to smoke them, but I'll give you all a first look. This is easy and quick, effective and efficient. Quicker than vaporizing like I've done in the past, mainly because the vaporizer I had it was a more inexpensive one, and it took a while to treat each hive because it took forever to come up to temp. But yeah, hey, hive number 1 in the 3rd position here seems to have a whole bunch more bees than they did last week. So hopefully moving, let's see, these 2 frames over from 5, this one over from 2, and then this one over from 4. Hopefully that was a move in the right direction. Let me top them off with some sugar water. And that's it. On to the next one. All right, just a quick first look at the hive in the 4th position. And yeah, the hives are looking nice. Between the concentration of bees, there's a big fat drone right there. Their time's pretty limited, meaning most colonies start giving drones the boot this time of year because they don't need them. All right, 5 milliliters per seam. Alright, it's that quick. I'll top off the syringe and treat the top box too, since they have a decent amount of bees up here. I think this is one of the colonies whose queen moved into the top box and started expanding the brood chamber. All right, that's that. All right, same first look as the last colony. This is the hive in the 5th position. As you can see, same thing. Nice population this time of year, ton of bees in the top box. Rinse and repeat. Just gonna top off the feeder, treat them with some liquid OA, and call it a day. All right, same process. Popped the top, took off the top box. I just topped off number 6 with some sugar water. Have not given the colony any smoke, so that's exactly how they've been, which is extremely calm. They're usually more feisty, but maybe it's temperature, time of day, food coming in. But here we go. All right, down here at number 7, very last hive. It's a feed and treat for today. These bees have been extremely calm for months now, and it's very refreshing to know you have a very calm colony. Quick first look. Fantastic. Nice bridge comb, cross comb. They're definitely bringing in the food or using the food I'm giving them. But yeah, let's get them topped off. Topped off and treated, and that's it for today. Yeah. There you have it. Easy peasy. It really doesn't get much easier than this. I do kind of kick myself in the butt for not trying this method years ago. It's quick, effective, efficient, inexpensive. I mean, oxalic acid is inexpensive to begin with. Yeah, there you have it. All right, well, hey, there you have it, folks. Another week in the bee yard. Simply just topped off the hives like y'all saw with some 1-to-1 sugar and treated them with some oxalic acid using the dribble method. Great article, again, by Honeybee Sweet. Really cool forum blog. They have a ton of articles on pretty much anything you can imagine regarding beekeeping. But another nice time in the yard. This time of year is really nice. Just have to kind of adjust the time frame when I'm out here to the early afternoon hours because the morning is just too cold. So yeah, there we have it. Wasn't the best look at hive number 1 in the 3rd position with the activity coming out the front like I saw yesterday and earlier this morning, but they are looking a lot better than they were the week before last. So moving those frames over, like I said when I was in that colony, hopefully that did the trick to move them in the right direction. And then next week I'll definitely conduct a full in-depth inspection and see if the bees have decided to make any queen cells, because some of those frames that I gave them did have some eggs. So I gave them the ability to rear a new queen if they need to. But yeah, there you have it, folks. All right, see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.